Hey guys, okay, so we are doing an au naturel video. I have no makeup on, have a fucking field day with it. I'm totally expecting it. But if you guys want more videos, this is how you're gonna get me. I woke up, I let my hair down, drove the kids to school, here I am. Alright, so first thing I want to address is I want to say thank you for everybody that gives me leads from Twitter, from Facebook, from everywhere. I totally appreciate it. The one thing, though, I think everybody's focusing on is really who's connected to who and why it even matters. I just feel that there's too much emphasis being put on, this one's cousin or that one's cousin. I even heard one which made me laugh that Danny Martinez might be connected to Link. Who cares? If Danny Martinez is not the killer, then who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter. But here's what bothers me a lot that's happening is because of everything, everybody's losing focus on concentrating on who needs to be focused on. Now, some of the connections have turned out to be funny. Like, Scott Tadych is married to his cousin's ex-wife, which is Barbara, and Barbara's ex-husband is married to Stephen Avery's ex-wife. I mean, it's kind of funny. I believe that that's when the letter came out that everyone saw from the investigator. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling this is what he was pointing at, is that, oh, there's so much incest that runs in this family. I'm pretty sure that's what he was referring to, because everybody's married to somebody else's ex. I mean, I know Wisconsin's a small, but it's not that small. It doesn't have to be like that. But regardless, it is what it is. There's been a lot of talk lately that Scott Tadych is off the suspect list. No, motherfucker, Scott Tadych is not off the suspect list. I have been saying Scott Tadych is the killer from day one. He is my number one suspect. He has remained my number one suspect. I have not seen any fucking evidence to prove me otherwise. Now, one of the reasons that I can absolutely swear in my heart of hearts, in my gut, I just feel it, of why he's guilty, I'm going to get into. But let me also state, you might be saying, oh, well, what the fuck is your gut? My gut has predicted everything I've said thus far. And I may not have the documents right away to back it up, but eventually someone else comes out with the documents. And if you look back at my other videos, including Wendy, which was a couple of weeks ago, long before any of the documents came out. So you have some of the YouTubers that go by, pure document. I go by pure gut, and the documents follow. And I'm being totally honest. So with that said, people ask me all the time, why do you think it's Scott and not Ryan? Why do you think it's Scott? I'm going to make this publicly again. I strongly believe Ryan was involved in the setup. I believe the scratches came from his covering the trees, because trees can do that. I do not believe, excuse me, I'm still sick. I do not believe for 1 second that Ryan actually did the murder and her brother's involved in everything else. I am not saying I'm right. I could be wrong. I just think it's a dumb theory. I think it's a dumb theory that her brother's going to be involved in covering up her own murder. Call me crazy. It's how I feel. Now, I'll get into all of that later, but let me finish this because I don't want to make this a 20-minute video. People ask me all the time, why do I think Scott's guilty? I'm going to tell you why. A lot of Scott's interviews have been covered already, so I'm not going to recover them and go through all of them. So, I'm going to give you my number one reason. On March 30th of 2006, Scott Tadych does an interview with Calumet County Sheriff's Department. I'll post the link. It's right on steveaverycase.org. And I'm going to put it on the website later, which is makingyourmurderle.com. Now, Scott Tadych says that he took the whole day off of work. He was visiting his sick mom, and he had picked Barbara up somewhere around 5:30. She was in the house, and she came out, and she picked him up. They went to go see his mom in the hospital. Now, that part of the story hasn't changed. He's pretty much, that's the only thing that's been consistent. But here's the big thing that hit me pretty hard. Tadych went on to indicate that Brendan spends most of his time with Stephen and that Stephen had taken Brendan up north a lot. Scott went on to indicate that this is all his gut feeling and that Stephen has some sort of sexual relationship with Brandon, but he doesn't have anything to back it up. Now, when someone tells me that they don't have anything to back it up, that says to me and any other normal human being that it's your gut instinct. Nobody told you anything. So nobody told you that Brandon was having this illicit affair. All right. So that wipes out the fact that Brandon told him anything. Now, the reason why I'm stressing that is because in Scott Tadych's very first interview on 11/16, he didn't even fucking know Brendan's name. So let's piece that together. Stephen was arrested on November 9th. Scott Tadych, 4 months later, says that he believes and he knows that Stephen took him up to the cabin a lot and everything else, and Stephen may have had a sexual relationship with him, and Brandon never told him this because it's just his gut feeling. But yet, when Stephen first got arrested, Scott didn't know his fucking name? So where did you get this gut feeling from? I'll tell you why. Because you're a fucking liar. That's where you got it from. You are a liar. And personally, Scott, you are guilty as fuck. Now, some of the other stuff has already been covered as far as, timelines and who's who. So I don't want to go through too much of it. But I will state that in 3 interviews that Scott Tadych gave, 2 of them, he was at work and left. One of them, he never left. He never went to work. Blaine Dassey's testimony, which I'll also link to, shows, or he states that when his friend called him to go out, Barb was in the house. It was sometime before 5:30. Okay. So she was in the house before 5:30. On 2 interviews, on the March 30th of 2006 and the November 29th of 2005, Scott Tadych states that when he picked her up, Barbara walked out of the house. On the very first interview, on the one that was filed on 11/16, he goes to say that she was standing outside with Stephen and one of her younger sons. But again, she didn't know his name. Which is it, Scott? Was she standing outside or was she in the house? Now let's add all of this to Kratz. I watched, we don't have video of the trial other than what was shown in the documentary. So I tried going through the whole trial in the documentary of when he did this. I know there was a lot of talk on it, like shut the fuck up. I watched him interview for what we were shown other people. And I know Kratz denies it, but he didn't do that to anybody else. And when he did it to Scott, Scott shut up. I'm sorry. He is fucking hiding something. I don't care who gives me shit for this. I don't care who disagrees with me for this. It is obvious that Scott Tadych is my #1 suspect for a reason. He's a liar. He is a violent man. People talk about the cat. Try looking into Scott Tadych's history. You want to talk about violence. So why he's working for the prosecution, I don't know. Why Bobby Dassey is working for the prosecution, giving up bullshit stories, I don't know. That's what we need to look into. What did Kratz promise them if they put Avery behind bars? That is what I've been searching for, what I need you guys to start looking for. Try to find some kind of deal that went on between Scott and Bobby and Kratz. And that's what I'm going to leave you on today. I hope you guys have a great Monday. I got some work to get done, and that's it. Peace out.